What is up, guys? Welcome back to yet another brand new Major Ben gaming video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day as always. Now, we are taking a look at Wuchang on PlayStation 5 Pro here today. Let me just flick over to the actual game and the gloriousness that is this game. Now, we haven't made a video like this in a while, so I'm trying to get back into it. I'm going to be talking about what's going on with my channel probably in another video coming up soon, but I don't want to do that here. So let's talk about this game on PlayStation 5 Pro. I've got the TV behind me so I can occasionally glance over, because we've got multiple different modes here that we can actually look at on PlayStation 5 Pro. So we've got prioritized graphics mode, which we'll look at first. There's lock FPS on and there's lock FPS off. So we've got a lot of different things. Now I've got my LG on behind me as well, so I can look at the frame rate and occasionally glance over and see it. We're at 66 FPS here. And why I find this interesting is because this game has been getting a lot of hate for the graphics and stuff and for the performance and stuff, which I agree it has some stutter issues and some problems. But at the same time, this is a UE5 game using Nanite and Lumen, and the fact that it runs this well and has quality mode above 60 frames on PlayStation 5 Pro is kind of exceptional. Now, I will be testing this on PS5 as well if people are interested to see that, but I want to make this video on PS5 Pro first. Now, running around this area, of course my on-screen display goes off. Running around this area, we're around the 60 frames per second mark. There are some drops that I'm feeling that are slightly below, perhaps dropping below that VRR window very occasionally, and it's probably stopping us, you know, just feel that smooth experience of 60 frames. But overall, it's pretty decent. We're getting good frame rates, and it is running most of all above 60. And this is in the quality mode on a game with using Nanite and Lumen and Unreal Engine 5. And no, it's not the best looking game. It's not up there with something like Wuchang or anything like that, but it is relatively close. Now, we had a little sort of stutter and some frame drops out in this world here, and I will say this is one of the more demanding areas of the game. I have played through quite a lot further than this area, and this part of the game is one of the more demanding. Now, looking at my frame rate counter, we're sort of diving between like low 50s and 60s in this quality mode. But overall, it actually looks very good. So let's check and take a look at some other ones as well. We've got, obviously, the lock FPS. If you want to lock the FPS, it's going to stick more to... It's kind of a pointless button because it locks it to 60 and you still see drops below, but you just don't get the drops above. So if you got VRR, definitely unlock it. But if you don't, I guess maybe lock it, but you're still going to see drops below anyway. We've got balanced, which we can also unlock. So let's go back in. Now, this is a really good option. It doesn't give you a huge amount above. It's slightly above, like we're around 61, but currently we're going between like 58 and 68 frames, so I would say it goes slightly higher. And I must admit, I'm not seeing a huge difference in image quality. So this is a good mode, to be honest, because I'm not... Maybe it's obviously rendering at a lower resolution and stuff, but to be honest, I'm not seeing a big difference at all in terms of actual image quality on screen. And that's what I like to always talk about on my channel. It's great having resolutions and stuff like that specified, but if you can't see a difference, it's not that big of a deal, in my opinion. If you can't visually see a difference between a game rendering at 1440p and 1264p, then who's to say what's, you know, actually a big problem or not, or a difference. So that's that mode, and the display's gone. But yeah, we're running like a high 60s or high 50s to high 60s, I would say, on this balance mode, which is really nice because you think about most games that have balance modes, they're normally like 40 FPS modes, right? They're normally in that lower end and they're not so great. And you pan the camera around this way, we're at 80 frames per second facing this way. You go out to this way and then we do get drops. We're at 52 frames per second. So not quite as, you know, perfect as a 60 FPS mode, but that gives us the option to then go to performance, right? And again, performance I'm really impressed with, because performance mode, now we're facing towards this way and we're getting 85 frames per second. And then we face this way and we're at 90 to 100 frames per second. It is incredible how well this game actually runs in this mode, like with the unlocked mode. I've got to say, I'm just really impressed with how this game has been running so far. So great. I mean, you can see there's some image breakup. There's a little bit more like haziness, like with some artifacting going on around characters in fast animations, and when you know, when the swords are swinging and things are going across the screen fast, there is some breakup from clearly some sort of upscaling, probably FSR. I don't think this game uses PSSR or anything like that, but there's definitely some issues. I've already grabbed this shrine. I'm just kind of running through this area, but the fact we're looking into this open area and getting 92 frames per second, and then looking this way, we're at over 100 frames. This is really good to see on a PS5 Pro. This is really great, and I just hope we see more games look like this, because as much as like the optimization in this game has been criticized, find me another UE5 game that has 120 FPS mode on console and actually runs really well like this. I don't think there is many, and I gotta say, it's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. So yeah, I'm impressed by this one. Yes, there's some haziness. You can see it through the capture and stuff. We are capturing incredibly high resolution, so I'm hoping this comes across really well on YouTube and stuff after with the compression. Obviously, you're going to see it worse on YouTube compared to what it is actually in person, but at the same time, I got to say, this is looking very, very good, and I would absolutely play it. Probably in performance mode. I'm not seeing a big enough image decrease between quality and performance that it's going to cause me a problem. But I'm going to go back to quality mode because I want to play a little bit more in quality mode. So let's go quality mode and let's turn lock FPS off. I have turned motion blur off. Now, obviously, this is now running a lower frame rate. It is a bit sharper. Things are looking sharper than they were before. But it's kind of like, it's not, I don't know if sharpness is the right word almost. It's not sharper, it's the same. It's just, there's less artifacting from FSR and the upscaling that they're using here, because there's, you know, it's just, I don't know, we're not going from a crazy low resolution. But if we take the scene here, looking at all the grass and stuff, what are we running at on quality? We're going at, well, I think we're below our 48 frames per second because it's saying 120 FPS, which it isn't because of the VRR window. But if we go over to performance and we turn off this, look how smooth that is. And things like the grass textures there and the leaves on the right are just not that different. I've got to say, I'm really impressed with how this is looking, and it is so much smoother. Now, in motion, it is worse. Like, it is definitely worse in motion, but it's not that bad. And I'm just really glad we're getting some games like this with some of these higher UE5 features actually have the option to have these high frame rate modes. And I also want to say, I'm looking at this on the monitor in front of me, but when I'm playing on that big TV behind me and I'm sitting kind of over this direction and I'm a lot further away, this artifacting is nowhere near as noticeable compared to playing on a monitor like I am in front of me. Like when you're sat far away on a big TV, it's just not really that noticeable compared to sitting where I am now in front of this much smaller, like 26-inch monitor. So there is that to bear in mind. It's just not as bad when you are at a distance. Let's get rid of this guy. And there we go. So yeah, I don't think there's much more for me to say. We kind of ran through this section. There's the odd stutter here, like you've just seen, but it is what it is. Like it just happens in some of these games these days. They stutter on every platform. This game is pretty poor on PC in terms of stutter issues as well. So you know, you're not going to get a better performance on any platform right now until this game is severely patched. So hopefully that does happen, because it's a shame. It's not a fun experience when you're going through and you are getting these like random frame time spikes. It isn't fun. But I gotta say, I am impressed overall with the image quality and performance that this game is getting, and I really like this art style. It's kind of like really visually impressive, but at the same time not crazy demanding and doesn't look bad in motion. Like I can see here, like with the leaves falling when we're in quality mode, there's definitely less artifacting. What about balanced? Let's go to balance mode again and unlock the frame rate because I want to see the max FPS. Yeah, balanced is a good compromise, but looking at the frame rate counter, yeah, we're around 60 frames. Obviously, coming down from 120, it's quite jarring, or 100 frames. But you do get that image quality, and I'll go to performance again. But if you just look at the leaves coming down, especially when they go over like a tree or whatever, you can see some more blur in the prioritized FPS mode here. So unlock that. Yeah, you see a little bit more artifacting in the tree, more flickering as well. So there's options here, which is, again, what's so good about this game. It's just having those options of what you you know, can use if you want to. You've got this high frame rate mode that still looks really good, and then you've got these quality modes that look even better, but they're just reduced, but they're not so reduced that it's like 30 FPS quality mode. You're still getting like 60 and below, and sometimes even above 60 in quality mode, and that's just really good. And I just think this game should be praised for some of the optimization that it has had. Stutter issues need to be gone, but all in all, it's pretty decent. So I think we'll stop there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below in this in the comments for this video. Leave a like, subscribe. Let me know what other videos on other games and other consoles and platforms you'd like me to test. I will do a video talking about what, you know, and kind of giving my opinions on what I'm doing in my own in gaming at the moment. So let me know anyway. Thanks very much for watching. Bye bye for now.